How's it going, everybody? This is Faceless Opinion, welcoming you back to another video. Looking at the title of this video, you can tell what my opinion is about Dragon Ball Super. I am not a fan of it. I think it is an incredibly bad series. I believe it represents the worst aspects of the entire franchise. Now, is this series all bad? Of course not. There are things in Super that I do, in fact, like. That's why it is only fair to give it some praise before I get hypercritical. Now, what are the things I like in Super? I like some of the new characters, like Jocko, Whis, Champa, Vados, Topo, Kefla, Goku Black, especially Goku Black, best villain in the Super continuity. I also like how they brought in older characters that we haven't seen in years and made them get involved in some capacity, like Master Roshi, Android 17, Frieza, but only really during the Broly movie. Speaking of which, they made somebody like Broly, a character for the longest time I hated, into a compelling character that I legitimately liked. They made Gogeta canon. The Broly movie in general was good, had a good soundtrack, some of the forms were introduced were amazing, mainly Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Rose, and Ultra Instinct. And yeah, I think that's all the good things I want to mention. Now get comfortable because there's a lot of bad to talk about. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, Super Saiyan Rose, Super Saiyan Rage, Legendary Super Saiyan, Ultra Instinct, Omen and Mastered, Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, Perfected Super Saiyan Blue, Wrathful State. There are a whopping total of 11 transformations, 8 if you want to count Blue Kaioken and both variations of Ultra Instinct as techniques. That is a lot of transformations, however you want to look at it, and some transformations are better than others. Let's start in order of first appearance. Super Saiyan God. I like this form. It has a good design in how it isn't acquired through traditional means. Instead of getting it through training, you have to have 5 pure-hearted Saiyans give you their energy. The problem with Super Saiyan God, though, is how that isn't really explained on how Goku is able to tap into that power without the ritual. Does that mean you only need to do it once and it's permanently unlocked? What about the case of Vegeta? How is he able to tap into it without the ritual? With them able to access God whenever they want with no strings attached, it undermines Battle of Gods with how important it was to learn and acquire this form. To me, it sort of feels like that the writers retconned Super Saiyan God to a small extent, though I think the bigger issue with God is how it gets tossed to the side by another form almost immediately. You know where I'm going with this one. Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, also known as Super Saiyan Blue. I hate this form. This is just Super Saiyan with blue hair dye. It's lazy. Not to mention, this power makes Super Saiyan God completely pointless. 2 godly powers introduced back to back is going to make one of them look strong and the other weak. While God is quote-unquote weaker than Blue, I wouldn't consider Blue to be that impressive. The reason why is because that Blue doesn't have that noteworthy win compared to other forms. Super Saiyan was used to beat Frieza. Super Saiyan 2 was used to beat Cell. Super Saiyan 4 was used to beat Baby in GT. Blue doesn't really have the big W. It didn't beat Golden Frieza, didn't beat Hit, didn't beat Merge Zamasu, didn't beat Jiren. The only time Blue looked as dominant as it was meant to be was when Gogeta used it against Broly. After years and arcs of it being crammed down our throats, it finally had its time to shine. Too little, too late. Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. When Goku said the word Kaioken during the Universe 6 tournament, that was epic. Definitely one of the shining moments of that arc. We haven't seen Goku use that technique since his fight with Frieza on Namek. It was nostalgic. However, when the moment passes and the nostalgia goes away, you have to wonder, as good as that moment was, it kind of damages Blue's prestige. This is supposed to be an extremely powerful transformation, the realm of the gods, but you were so overwhelmed that you had to amp up the power levels. If this were a one-time thing, I wouldn't really care, to be that honest. But it isn't. Goku continues to add Kaioken with Blue, and this isn't a regular Kaioken. This is Kaioken times 20. And it's because of this why myself and others think Super Saiyan Blue is a garbage form, because it can't really stand on its own two legs. Super Saiyan Rosé, Goku Black's transformation. I like it. I think it suits him quite well. My only main issue with this one is that it's never really explained on why Goku Black's hair turns pink when channeling God Ki, while Goku and Vegeta's hair turns blue. Mundane, I know, but I would like an explanation. Doesn't need to be complicated. Something like Goku Black tapping into his former divine powers before the body swap, leading to the coloration being different. Super Saiyan Rage. What the hell even is this? This form literally pops out of nowhere and is not explained what the hell it is. Is it supposed to be some weird attempt in accessing God Ki? Is it some sort of Super Saiyan 2.5? Is it some weird amalgamation of the two? Whatever it is, one thing for sure is that this Super Saiyan Rage thing is a fucking asspull. The only reason it exists is to have future Trunks to somewhat keep up with the power scaling in the Goku Black arc. If they wanted to give Trunks a power-up, why not give him Super Saiyan 3, instead of making a fanfic transformation? FYI, this form does not appear in the Super manga, so take it for what you will. Perfected Super Saiyan Blue is a manga-exclusive transformation. It appears when Goku fights against Merged Zamasu. The fight itself wasn't bad. Goku tries to do a Hakai, we get shirtless Zamasu. Good times. Now what exactly is Perfected Blue? Remember back to the Cell Saga when Goku and Gohan came out of the Time Chamber and they were able to fully master the Super Saiyan transformation? Think of it like that, but with blue. I agree with it in principle, getting full control of blue without any drawbacks, but I wouldn't consider its own separate transformation, just more of an extension of blue, not making it more powerful but more stable. But that is my own headcanon on how I think it should work. Legendary Super Saiyan. I have no problems with this one. I think having some Saiyans having a slightly altered version of the standard Super Saiyan form makes sense. Not every Saiyan is the same. Case in point, Broly and Kale. Their variation of the Super Saiyan makes them uber powerful. Kale destroyed the TOP arena in the anime and eliminated almost half of the fighters in the manga. While Broly, he whooped Goku and Vegeta so bad that they had to fuse into Gogeta and have to use blue to beat him. You don't fuck with a Super Saiyan Berserker, the legendary Super Saiyan. Enough said. Ultra Instinct is phenomenal, the best thing to come out of the Tournament of Power. I personally prefer the look of Omen over Mastered, but it doesn't really matter that much. It is a thing of beauty. My only criticism would be that it makes Super Saiyan Blue look even more pathetic, even though that doesn't take much to do. Let's be real honest about that. Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, another pointless form that is introduced and is not explained. Why does this exist? Is this some BS way to give Vegeta a power increase to keep up with Goku's Blue Kaioken or Ultra Instinct? Most likely. I would like to know how this evolution power makes Vegeta's blue even stronger, because I really don't see a difference. That his hair is a few shades darker? I don't know, but it kind of feels similar to Perfected Blue. Wait, is evolution supposed to be Perfected Blue? This is so confusing. Wrathful State. I don't know how I feel about this one. On one hand, we get another form that muddies the water, that Broly can tap into the power of a great ape without needing to transform, or have a tail. I don't understand it. Then on the other hand, Broly had an amazing showing against Goku and Vegeta with this state. I may not know how I feel about it, but the one thing I do know is that Broly's Wrathful State is not the Super Continuity's version of Super Saiyan 4. Do not compare this to 4. They are not the same, and I refuse to acknowledge that premise. Like I said, there are a lot of forms, and let's be real honest here, so many that it makes my head hurt thinking about it. Expect some more to pop up in the future though, it's a given. Only a matter of time until we get Super Saiyan Rainbow. Feel the rainbow, taste the rainbow. I feel I speak for a lot of people when I say that I would like to see some of the other characters have a cool moment. Do something epic, whether it be Piccolo, Gohan, or any character you want to be. I don't really care. It could even be Yamcha even. But that isn't the case now because Dragon Ball Super is, and say it with me now, the Goku and Vegeta show. The vast majority of characters have been pushed to the side because they can't keep up with the ever-rising power gap. Characters that I had a positive opinion towards are now just shells of their former selves. Take, for example, the Z Fighters. They're completely irrelevant. All they do is fight no-name grunts and sit on the sidelines. As bad as that is, it doesn't hold a candle to how Gohan and Piccolo have been treated. Gohan has been turned into a punching bag, a joke. This is the guy who went from annihilating Cell to being turned into Frieza's bitch in Resurrection F. Keep in mind, this was base form Frieza. I would mention more of Gohan's failures, but there aren't any. Mainly because Gohan is busy doing scholar stuff, like going to conferences and whatever the hell he does for his job. I'm not even gonna mention the Saiyaman stuff. That shit is filler, and the least said about the great Saiyaman, the better. The writers do redeem him somewhat in the TOP, but it doesn't really get rid of the bad taste in your mouth. How the mighty have fallen. Still doesn't compare what they did to Piccolo, though. He was done oh so dirty. I have to qualify this as a hate crime. Where do I even begin with this one? In the anime adaptation of Resurrection F, he literally dies protecting a pussified Gohan. In Universe 6, he was forced to forfeit because Vegeta told him to, because he wanted to fight Frost, and everybody went along with that, including Beerus, who had 3, now 2 legit fighters on his team at that point, while Champa had 4. He should not have been made to drop out. Then when we get to TOP, where Piccolo gets eliminated in the most BS way possible, by getting eliminated by a bug that can only be located by sound. Piccolo, the guy with super hearing and stretchy arms, the 2 things that would be the most useful in that situation, got eliminated. You have got to be kidding me. Then we get to the Moro arc, where Piccolo fought 7-3. He was told not to let 7-3 grab his neck, or else he's going to steal his abilities. What do you think happened? Literally 5 seconds later, that exact thing happened. If you're a Piccolo fan, all I have to say is, I am sorry. He deserves better. It doesn't really stop there. I haven't even mentioned Majin Buu, Goten, Trunks, both Kid and Future. It's likely they don't even know how they want to use them. Then we get characters who get a little too much screen time in my opinion, like Beerus and Whis. I liked Beerus when he first appeared in Battle of Gods, but after that I don't anymore. To me, his entire personality consists of being angry and eating food. Hangry, if you will. They're trying to make him come off as both as an intimidating force and comedic relief at the same time. I can't take him seriously because it is so inconsistent. In one scene, we can watch him destroy a person like it was nothing, while in the next, we see him chowing down, fangirling out on ramen freaking noodles. While my problem for Whis is that he's a literal deus ex machina. Count the number of times that I got involved in something and boom, the problem gets solved. With his time rewind and resurrection abilities, the stakes are non-existent. For someone who's alleged to be neutral, he really isn't. Now, can someone explain to me why the hell the Pilaf gang are in Super? Seriously, why are they here? They are nothing characters. One answer would be to give Kid Trunks a love interest in Mai. No, just no. That pairing is fucking gross. She's older than Bulma. I don't care that she's a kid now. That shit is hella creepy. Besides, that only explains Mai, but why are Pilaf and Shu here too? And don't say comedic relief. They are not funny. The only character that I would say has been treated somewhat okay would be Vegeta, and only because of his character growth, him being a mentor to Kaba, his concern for future Trunks during the Goku Black arc, or even him not competing in the exhibition match for the TOP when Bulma was pregnant. All solid moments for him. Fighting-wise, his record is lacking. The only notable win he has would be against Toppo in the TOP. He has no other wins in the series. Hit, Goku Black, and Jiren all beat him senseless. He came close to beating Frieza and Moro, but those were yoinked from him by a certain somebody. Somebody that I haven't mentioned yet. Well, since he likes the spotlight so much, I decide he can have his own section. I think we can all agree that Goku has his faults. For one, he isn't the most intelligent person. He did, after all, give Cell a senzu bean. If you want to say that he isn't the best husband to Chi-Chi or the best father to Gohan and Goten, I will not disagree with you. Even with all his issues, Goku in Dragon Ball Z was likable. He didn't grind your gears. Does he hog the spotlight? Sure, but which shonen anime protagonist doesn't? But what happened to Goku in Super is just... he's so fucking irritating. I can't stand him. He's just so stupid. Yes, Goku is never the smartest, but he reaches levels of stupidity. I have to wonder, did he suffer brain damage from all his years of fighting? During the Goku Black arc, he forgot sensu beans and the talisman for the Mafuba so they could seal Zamasu away. I could forgive him for forgetting the sensu beans, but did he not learn his lesson after that to make sure he had everything he needed before going to the future again? Oh, let's not forget that in the same arc that Goku does not know what kissing is. Let that sink in. Goku, who has been married for 20 years, give or take, has 2 sons, who has a grandchild, mind you, does not know what kissing is, nor has he ever kissed his wife. I'm sorry, what? Huh? What? Am I hearing this right? I think Vegeta's reaction perfectly represents what we all thought about that moment. Intelligence aside, Goku's also a bit of a self-centered dick. He is so obsessed with fighting strong guys that he has no regard for the people he wants to fight, or the people who might be affected by that. For example, after the Universe 6 tournament, Goku was hell-bent on fighting Manaka, even though everybody knows that Beerus lied about him being the strongest fighter. But Goku pushed on, not caring what anybody else wanted. Or how about what happened with Zamasu, who did not want to fight Goku, but was forced to do so, which only added fuel to his hatred of mortals and led to his heel turn. Then we get his worst moment, the Tournament of Power. He was told and threatened by Beerus not to talk to Zeno about having a tournament, but Goku did just that, leading to the tournament happening, and all eliminated universes get erased. He put the entire multiverse at risk because he is that big of a combat whore, because he wanted to fight strong guys, and spare me the comments saying that he gave the universes a chance not to get erased. That is just a BS way for the writers to save face for Goku, to make him look like he isn't a selfish prick. He also hogs all the spotlight. He has beaten every antagonist in the series, except for Beerus and Merge Zamasu, and I guess Broly too. But I stand corrected, he did not need to always get the win. Vegeta should have killed Golden Frieza, but nope, Goku. Vegeta should have killed Moro, but nope, Goku. Man, fuck Goku. This is not the Goku I remember from Z. And yes, I know, the dub version of Goku is not the accurate representation of the character, so what? That Goku was likable, was tolerable, and was somebody we could all get behind. If the Goku we have in Super is supposed to be the true representation of Goku, then may Zeno have mercy on us all.
Gina, what does the scouter say about his power level? It's over 9,000! What, 9,000? There's no way that can be right!
I had to. It was appropriate given what we were about to discuss. Power levels, scaling, progression, whatever you want to call it, is one of the most important aspects throughout the franchise. Me personally, I have always thought the constant and at times drastic escalation of power to be wonky. How do 2 humans turned android have power to surpass Frieza, who had a power level that was in the hundreds of millions and could easily destroy planets with his finger? It's a little bizarre, but yet again, this is a show about punching people really hard, so maybe I shouldn't think too much into things. When it comes to Super, things get mind-boggling. Not in the good way. The insane levels of power, godly power to be more specific, is not as impressive and awe-inspiring as it should be. Earlier in the video, I talked about Super Saiyan Blue and the issues surrounding it, mainly how it fails to get the job done. The reason for that is because apparently every person they fight have god levels of power. So much so is that it is absolutely absurd. Take Frieza for example. In Resurrection F, he was able to train for only 4 months and he was able to overpower Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Keep in mind, that this was the same Goku who fought Beerus in Battle of Gods, and the two, during their clash, almost destroyed the universe. And don't give me the BS excuse of Frieza was a prodigy, or a mutant, and never had a reason to train, meaning when he did, he got exponential gains. Shut up. That's just stupid. If it were a year of training, maybe you could convince me, but 4 months he can rival godly power. And don't even get me started with the BS in the TOP, where he was able to perfect his golden form while he was in hell just by thinking really hard. By this logic, if Cell were ever to return properly, Moro, all he would have to do is train for a week, and he would be stronger than Super Saiyan Rainbow Kaioken times 100, Ultra Instinct, Great Ape Goku, and Base. All jokes aside, the gods' forms have effectively broken the power level system. Another example of power creep would be the Goku Black arc, on how Goku got whipped by Goku Black, but is somehow able to wound Merge Zamasu, or in the manga, is able to square up to him and almost Hakai him. It's things like that which really makes you question how power levels work. The argument can be made that those forms were introduced too early into the show and were done within close succession of one another, as well as how frequently used it is. That is something I can 100% agree with, but I still think no matter when you have them access those forms, there would still be somebody out there who's at that level of strength. You have people like Frieza, Hit, Caulifla, Kale, Kefla, Bergamo, Future Trunks, Android 17, Gohan, Moro, who were all able to compete with somebody who had god levels of strength. I don't believe any of them should have that level of power that they have. The reason why I say that is because do you honestly think that any of those characters I name dropped could keep up with someone like Beerus or any other destroyer god? No, I don't. And because of it, they should not be compared to any of the god forms. Now, who do I think should be able to merit the use of god power in a fight against them? Beerus, obviously, Goku Black, Merge Zamasu, Toppo when he's channeling Hakai power, Jiren, and Broly. That's it. If anyone else tried to square up to God Goku or God Vegeta, they should be beaten down into the dirt in 5 minutes, max. But that isn't the case, and they need to augment their god power with Kaioken, or Evolution, or Perfected, just to keep up with, I don't know, whoever the new villain is. God power is a goddamn joke. I am one of those people who don't really have much of an interest in lore compared to others. It is an important thing to have and can shape a story, don't get me wrong, but I don't have a vested interest in wanting to learn the entire history of the verse. There are only a few select series where I would like to learn more about the world where it takes place. Dragon Ball is not one of them, surprising given that I'm a big fan of it. The only thing I have a somewhat mild interest in is the Saiyans, Namekians, and the Frieza race. Mainly, what the hell is the name of their race? I hate how they are only referred to as Frieza race in games like Xenoverse, but that is not the point. Barring those things, I generally have a neutral view on it, until we get to Super, where they like to make a lot of additions and addendums. The biggest having to be the inclusion of multiple universes and the divine hierarchy. Let's talk about the multiverse. For me, I do not care about it. I never did, but I can understand why others would. It would open up an infinite number of possibilities, like traveling to other universes, but we never really got that. All that we really done with those other universes is have 2 tournaments and have a rogue Kai from Universe 10 go to ours and screw around in an alternate future timeline of said universe. Besides, I remember Whis mentioning that there are 12 universes in total, and that each one has a twin of sort, like how Universe 6 and 7 are synonymous, because they add up to number 13 or something. Okay, I understand that, somewhat, but then we learned that there were 18 universes originally, and that the Omni King erased 6 of them, for some reason, never really explained. Not to mention, it kind of undermines the whole 13 thing, whatever that's supposed to be. Like, how is the whole twin thing supposed to work? If we change the number 13 for 19 to accommodate it, it would still be confusing as how 6 and 7 are still quote-unquote twins. Because if we are doing the 19 thing, their respective twins should be 12 and 11. And I don't remember seeing any Jirens running around in Universe 7. I feel like the multiverse thing needs to be explored more thoroughly if the writers want to continue it. When it comes to the subject of gods, it is not that foreign of a concept, since you have characters like Kami, King Kai, Supreme Kai, and Elder Kai showing up in Z, and even as early as OG Dragon Ball. That is why it makes sense that the divine world would expand, with the introduction of destroyers, angels, and other deities. However, with their introduction comes the issue of plot holes. Take Beerus, for example. He is millions of years old, so why didn't he get involved when Majin Buu was running around killing the Kais? That was kind of a big deal. The Supreme Kai was almost killed by Buu, and that would spell trouble for Beerus since their lives are interconnected. If one of them dies, the other will too. So if doing his job as a destroyer wasn't enough for him to get off his lazy butt, self-preservation should. I would also like to mention Moro as well, since this does fall under the same thing with Buu, since he too was going around causing issues in the universe for millions of years as well. And don't give me the crap of he was sleeping. Whis would be smart enough to realize the threat and wake Beerus' bitch ass up. However, I think the biggest issue I have with Beerus' inclusion would have to be the retcon of Planet Vegeta's destruction, when he said that he ordered Frieza to blow up the Saiyan homeworld. I think that undermines Frieza because we all know the reason why he destroyed Vegeta was because he feared the Super Saiyan legend. I hate that retcon, although it isn't the worst one to happen in the series. Looking at you, Vegito. I have so many questions about the divine hierarchy, like where does Zalima stack up on the list? Why does Zeno need guards? Why did Zeno erase 6 universes? Why do we need 2 Omni Kings? What exactly is the Grand Priest's role? Why is it that Beerus sleeps for decades on end before Super, but isn't taking another decades-long siesta now? Why is the Supreme Kai so incompetent and doesn't understand basic concepts that other Kais do? Why are the angels so freaking OP and have all these powers? Why is Maris an angel in training? What is he training for? I can keep going, but I think you got the point. The divine hierarchy is a mess. There is no risk in Dragon Ball Super. Consequences don't mean anything since it can be undone by Dragon Balls, divine intervention, or a literal ass pull. The only thing I can think of where you could say that there could have been stakes would be during Battle of Gods, when Beerus made his first appearance. Anytime after that, not so much. In Resurrection F, the moment when Beerus and Whis appeared during the battle between Goku and Frieza, you saw the way Frieza looked anxious when he saw Beerus. Then we get the scene where Whis pulled out the reverse card and rewound time, undoing the Earth getting blown up. Kinda killed any tension there that there may have been. Fast forward to the Universe 6 tournament. There wasn't any peril. Worst case scenario is Universe 7 lost to 6, and the Earth would be moved to Universe 6. That's it. Let's be real honest. We all kinda hoped that they would lose so we could further explore a new universe, but that wasn't the case. What about Goku Black? There had to have been tension there, right? Yes and no. Yes, future Trunks' timeline was at risk, but who cares? It's not like Goku Black was going to travel to the main one, the one we're familiar with, and destroy it. He and Zamasu seemed more or less content sticking around in the future. Besides, it's not like it really matters since Trunks' timeline got destroyed regardless. In a way, I would say is 10 times worse than what Zamasu was going to do. At least there was still a multiverse. Then what happened after that? Future Trunks and Mai go to an alternate timeline where there are 2 of them, and no one really cares that Zeno just nuked everything. Okay then! Tournament of Power. The moment the Super Dragon Balls were going to be the prize for winning the TOP, we all knew how it was going to end. The winner was going to use the wish to bring back all the erased universes, automatically making all the tension and suspense null and void. No pun intended. Let's not forget that no one has any anger, resentment, or bad blood with Goku, the guy who instigated the tournament to begin with. But no, we can't do that to Goku. He is the hero. He is holier than thou and must be worshipped as the god he is, you pleb. I felt like there could have been more tension in the Broly movie if they were to have kept Gogeta a secret and not reveal him in the trailer. I think there would have been more concern and wonder as how they're gonna beat Broly. Then you see Fusion and boom, the crowd goes wild. That would have made an amazing moment even more amazing. And finally, we get to Moro. Maris' sacrifice was rendered pointless since the GP decided, Maris, I know you broke Angel Law, but it doesn't matter, I'm gonna bring you back to life. Just don't do that again, you silly boy. And yes, I know that Maris doesn't have his angel powers anymore, but so what? It's not like that's a consequence to Maris. As a matter of fact, it's the exact opposite. What is the point of me bringing up all these examples? To show that nothing matters. That whatever hardship the Dragon Team has to deal with can be resolved like that. If somebody dies, use the Dragon Balls. If there's a threat that can't be dealt with, call Beerus or Whis. Offer them a steak dinner, and they will be more than willing to help. Fight a strong opponent, get a new power-up. Lather, rinse, repeat. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a punch card for every death someone has, and after 5 deaths they get a free combo meal to McDonald's. Everything is predictable. The status quo never changes. Consequences are meaningless because everything works itself out. Why should I worry about Goku or Vegeta if they're going to get a new transformation, get some help from the Omni King, or the plot straight up says that they're going to be fine? What is the point in watching and reading if there are no stakes? I have my fair share of issues with Super. I think every arc in the series has something that I am not fond of, whether it be something gargantuan or insignificant. So let's go over each arc. Battle of Gods. The only thing I didn't like was the inclusion of the Pilaf gang. Seriously, why are they here? Better yet, how do some of the cast do not recognize them? They look and act the same as an OG Dragon Ball. They use the same names for Pete's sakes. You'd think somebody would notice and connect the dots. Maybe not Goku, because let's be honest, he is a bit of an idiot. But Bulma, the smartest person on Earth, can't figure it out? Get bent. Oh, and I also wasn't a fan of Goku absorbing the power of Super Saiyan God into his base, making him stronger. Kinda felt like cheating, but that's just my opinion on it. Resurrection F. I hate everything about this arc. For me, this arc represents all the things I can't stand about modern Dragon Ball. They all originate here. The abundance of transformations, the disrespect of characters, the absurd power progression, the Goku favoritism, the over-reliance on divine intervention. All of those tropes started here and are present in everything else moving forward. Honestly, it would have been better, instead of bringing back Frieza, they either had King Cold get brought back or make Cooler canon. King Cold had a large amount of potential that we never got to see, and while for Cooler, he's really popular within the fandom. Oh, and no Golden Form BS, that is just a shitty redesign, almost as bad as Super Saiyan Blue. Universe 6 Tournament. I didn't like how Boo fell asleep. I liked how the manga did by just having him fail the test. The inclusion of Nanako was stupid. Frost is just a Frieza clone, which is really disappointing. I really liked Good Boy Frost. Wasted potential there. The Batamo and Magetta fights were boring, not to mention they didn't have any semblance of a personality, making them forgettable. I didn't like Cabba's design. I wished he were more muscular, not buff per se, just more toned instead of being a stick man. Oh, and give him a tail too. He's supposed to be a Saiyan. Make him look like one. Let's not forget the disrespect of Piccolo. How could we forget that? And that Hit was able to beat God Vegeta with no problems. Yes, I know that Hit's time skip is a powerful ability, but that doesn't mean that it should put him at God levels of power, especially making Goku use Blue Kaioken against him. Goku Black Arc. I hate Future Trunks' design. I don't have an issue with the outfit. I think that's fine. My issue with his design is with his lack of muscles. Because remember when Future Trunks was jacked? In Super, look at him. He's barely buffer than Cabba. Then we get to his hair. Oh god, why the hell did they dye his hair? It looks so bad. It's even worse because Kid Trunks' hair is perfectly fine. The way it should be. Lavender. But why is Future Trunks' hair blue? Then we have the dynamic between Goku Black and Zamasu. This is a weird one, but hear me out on it. Goku Black was the one who did most of the work. He got the Super Dragon Balls. He killed the gods. He has traveled through time. But why does future Zamasu act like he's in charge? It's weird. Not to mention, when Zamasu got imprisoned with the Mafuba, he was the one who demanded they fuse. Even though Goku Black was clearly winning against both Goku and Vegeta, and did not really need to fuse at that point, remember the Siphon clones? I feel like Goku Black is treated like a subordinate and not as the leader of the two of them. He is the one in charge. The Zero Mortals plan was his idea, not future Zamasu. Zamasu is the tag-along here, not Goku Black. Other issues with it is Super Saiyan Rage, what the hell is that, Goku's stupidity, the Potara retcon and shafting of Vegito, Future Trunks' relationship with Mai, merge Zamasu, mainly the anime version, because he gets corrupted the episode after they fuse. I don't have an issue with him getting corrupted, just don't do it after he fuses. Work up to it. Then we have the Spirit Sword of Hope. That made no sense. If Goku made the Spirit Bomb initially and Trunks had to use it, kind of like when Krillin used the Spirit Bomb during the fight with Vegeta, that would be fine, but that isn't the case. Then we get to the infamous ending, where Zeno erases the entire timeline. Whoever agreed to that ending needs to get slapped in the face. Tournament of Power. It was long. Awfully long and drawn out. There were too many fighters in it, and let's be real honest, people we are never going to see again. Why would we want to? Most of the universes we saw were crap. Universe 3, the Machine Team, were disappointing. Universe 4, with their cheap tactics, should not have stayed as long in the tournament as they did. Universe 10 is full of weaklings. Universes 2 and 9 were whatever. I didn't really care about them. The only ones that mattered in the tournament were Universe 6, 11, and 7. Speaking of 7, I have issues with them. One would be the members of the team. Frieza should not have been brought back. Boo should have been in the TOP. Why the hell was Roshi considered for it and not Yamcha, or Jocko, or Goten, or Trunks, or Chaozu? No disrespect to Roshi, of course. I loved his episode. It was hands down the best one, but there were other options. Better options. Then we have the domination of Universe 7 throughout the tournament. They got most of the eliminations. They had half of their team on the field for the final act against the Pride Troopers. I thought they were supposed to be the second worst universe. Why are they steamrolling through everybody, eliminating all of the relevant characters? Then we have stupid eliminations like TNs, and worst of all, Piccolo. I hate how a lot of the universes just accepted that they lost and smiled instead of flipping shit and freaking out. It's like they knew how it was going to end. Speaking which, the ending was predictable. Though I hate the added fact that the Omni Kings allegedly had the Super Dragon Balls as a test to see if the winners would bring back the other universes. The Zenos have never been shown with that level of cunning, so I do not believe that they could think of something like that. It's absurd, really. Broly movie. I wish Bardock had his iconic bandana. I don't have any issues with his new look, I just wish he had the bandana. I would have also liked to have seen Bardock's team as well. Have them and their leader do some cool missions. And I also wish we could have seen Bardock's final battle against Frieza. It was one of my favorite things in the original special. I knew it would make the movie a little longer, but I don't think anyone would really mind that. Moro arc. I already made a video talking about this arc, and I would greatly appreciate it if you would watch it. I'll link it down in the description for you. It's an interesting watch. And yep, that should be all the arcs. I'm not going to talk about the current one because I'm not following it. I don't really care what is happening in it. I don't know who this granola bar guy is, nor do I want to. Not interested. Next. Dragon Ball Super is polarizing. There are things in this video that I did not go over and criticize. The animation was one that I omitted, but that's because we all knew that was crap in the beginning, but got better as it went on, which is why I didn't feel like mentioning it. The issues I have with this series are numerous and glaring, which makes me not want to invest my time into it further. Now, if you're one of those people who watched this video in its entirety, listening to everything I had to say about it, and you still like Super and think it's the best, all I have to say to you is that it's perfectly fine. Just because I don't like something doesn't mean others aren't allowed to enjoy it. I mean, I like Dragon Ball GT, and that series has its fair share of issues and criticisms too. Hell, there are probably people out there who dislike both series and think that should have ended at Z. That's a valid take to have. Hell, there are most likely people out there who like both of them. Dragon Ball Super isn't for me. It is not my cup of tea. It is too goofy and silly and dumb, probably because when it was aired in Japan, it was showed at the morning time slot where more kids would be watching it. Me, I prefer the more serious stuff from Z, with silliness sprinkled in from time to time, and because of it, I will not like Super. Though, that's not the only reason why I don't like it. Super could have been good. It had promise, but it just didn't live up to it in my eyes. I think I'll wrap things up here. Now be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, leave me a comment and tell me what you think about Dragon Ball Super. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Let's have a conversation about this. Until next time, I will catch you all on the flip side.